Which one counts most in the IELTS speaking test? Part 1, Part 2, or Part 3? Hi, I'm Nick, and for all things IELTS, make sure you follow my channel. So the reason this question came up is from a student of mine who sent me a message saying, I'd like to focus on Part 2 because I found out that this is what the examiners focus on most. And I had to write back and say, that's actually not true. The test is marked as a whole. Part 1, Part 2, Part 3. You get 1 grade for the whole test. It's not marked in different sections. And one section does not count for more marks. So Part 3 does not have more marks than Part 1. It's just 1 grade for the whole test. Now, having said that, generally, people find Part 1 a bit easier, right? If you're not familiar with the test, in Part 1, it's questions about you. So things like, do you like sports? Or what's your favorite animal? Or do you prefer cooking or takeaway food? Things like that. So the questions are generally a bit easier to answer. Part 2 and Part 3 are a bit harder. For Part 2, you have to speak for 2 minutes. And sometimes the topics are a little bit easier, like talk about a friend or talk about a family member. And sometimes the topics can be quite tricky, like talk about a person who had a clever solution to a problem, or talk about an important piece of advice you received. Now, they're not necessarily hard questions, but they're more difficult to think of on the spot. And that's why Part 2 is often something that students want to focus on in exam practice. And I totally understand that. Part 3 can also be tricky because you have to have a bit of general knowledge for Part 3, and you have to have some ideas and some opinions, like what are some of the advantages and disadvantages of wearing a uniform? Or what do you think about single-sex versus mixed-sex schools? Or should social media be banned for children under the age of 16? For example, you need to have ideas and opinions and be ready to talk on these things on a wide variety of topics in Part 3. So definitely Part 2 and Part 3, I would say, are more challenging. And I think most people would say that. And that's why generally people like to spend more time preparing them. However, what do examiners look at the most? Part 1, Part 2, or Part 3? The test is marked as a whole. You get 1 mark for the whole thing.